What is going on, troopers? Welcome to the Trooper Transmission. And today we got my man David, aka Solo Blessman, coming on to talk things fitness, nerding out, troopers, and everything else in between. So I'm gonna hit you with a curveball question to start. Favorite Star Wars character?
Favorite Star Wars character right now, Paul, has probably been in recent stuff, Mandalorian with Din Djarin, and just that consistency of fatherhood and just getting the next job done and not necessarily caring about anything else besides what is at hand and what takes care of his own people.
Heck yeah. Great, strong answer. Way to start us off. I'll give you one last one. Uh, the Star Wars quote that resonates with you the most.
I don't know if there has been one recently. A pull direct quote from stuff. Uh, but like pop culture right now, what's in my mind is like Andor season one. I need to start season two, and the Rebel speech from the people as they're about to like fight the Empire, like chills every time I listen to that just as a clip on its own.
Yeah, cool. Well, dude, that's a great segue to how you got started with Fit Nerd Academy and how we resisted the dad bod empire. So we'll wind the clock back 5, 6 months ago, a year ago. Like, what was going on in your world that inspired you to want to make a change or made you realize, like, all right, I got to go on my hero's journey.
Yeah, so like been following on Instagram, and then I was like, wait a minute, this is also YouTube. So started following those things. Honestly, don't know the date. Sometime in 2024, maybe late 2023. Uh, it was a blur to the point that I'm just like, all right, here's the Trooper transmission. Where's the next latest reel or skit or workout in some capacity and like follow that stuff. And then followed the playlist finally on YouTube and was like, cool, immediately downloaded, added to private playlists so that way I can know how to get to it quickly. And then try to do a video series here and there on my own. And it was a lot of, start, stutter, stop, stutter, getting after it on my own necessarily. And then I was like, oh, there's only 5 videos. All right, it's not like a robust workout. Let's see what they're like. Did a couple of them, and then life got in the way. Life kept getting in the way. And then the catalyst video was either December of 24 or January 25. Your I forgot the name of it. 10 or 25 things to start the new year. And then, like, one of the ones that stuck out was the no one's coming to save you. Like, this is the chance. That was the one that stuck out. I was like actively walking for exercise out of my routine because it was like vacation time mode, but also a chance to get doable, something healthy, pushing my son in a stroller. And it was like, you know what, this is 100% what's going on with me. And then finally, swiped up on the hyperlink and then started the conversation about applying. And then that took probably longer than it should have, about 3 weeks of back and forth between my work trips and things going on. And then finally we were to have the one-on-one mid to late January.
Yeah. And good for you for having a full catalog of that because most people they would not even remember a single video that they did. And I remember the one that you're talking about because it was, hey, here's some things that might be blocking you from doing that. And kudos to you for having the self-awareness to be like, boom, that's it. And just getting out of your own way so that you can start to progress. And so I'd be curious for you, what were some of the like specific shifts that you've made recently that have enabled you to get out of your own way? Is it like tactical? Is it
Sweet.
strategic? Is it sleep?
I think the strategic has been the persona, gamifying it a little bit. The strategic has been the persona of like who is Trooper 3009 in my mind. And like whenever when people do the new shinies and people hop on, my thing to do instead of saying welcome Trooper has been buckets on, let's go. The idea of like let's get to mission, like we're doing this.
Yeah.
And even then, that like reminds it's a self reflection of like, cool, I told him or her to do it. Now it's my turn to put my bucket on and get to it. The That's been like the mindset strategic, and then the operational toolkit stuff has been just the ease of the application between diet tracking and exercises and messages all in one has made it extremely uh what's user friendly is like the normal terms, but it is like it removes the barriers. Right. So when I first initially messaged you about like, yeah, let's do this thing, I'm like, boom, there's the AI bot, no problem. He's got it all set up, automated. But then I was like, okay, the follow up I could tell is like the same thought process, and it was thought through, and there's not like, oh, Paul just has some bot who's in the way till he finally meets someone. It's like, no, there's a systematic approach to getting the initial calendar invite to then like the conversation is like the details are taken care of. Now let's talk. Like we use technology to get over details. Now let's have the conversations. And then the initial like 1 hour, what are the goals? What are the thought processes? Went well, and just like seeing that off. And then the tactical workouts has been easy. And then working now with your counterpart, Marcus a little bit more about the need for like, cool, hey man, you got 30 minutes. This is your category for when you got 30 minutes to work out in versus your 1 hour in the gym. So having that like flexibility in the menu and the options to still get after the goal setting. The sleep stuff was good. And then little things like starting with the uh, right? If the end state is one thing, how do we get that via achievement or milestone? The first milestone was just like, let's count protein and let's count calories. And I'm like, all right, cool. Now we're going to add in carbs and fats. And it was like, you know what? I could handle that because I just met over 60 days worth of carb goals and protein goals. Now just adding in a fat goal and sorry, protein goal, now adding a carb goal and fat goal, smooths that out. So like all categories are being managed. And then the weekly check-in forums like helps kind of keep that vision in mind, and then you guys using the loom capability to then say, all right, cool, 1 minute, this is down and dirty, this is your details, and then here's the macro and here's the trend, like thinking about that big picture, not worried about the fact that you didn't work out 4 times this week, you only got into the gym twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for you, you're very data driven and very analytical, and you like to research and have everything all aligned. Was there any element of overdoing that before starting, or does this just kind of streamline all your thoughts so maybe you don't have to think and be as analytical, so you can just go and execute, be soldier, be dad, be husband?
Yeah, it was definitely the latter. Execute, execute, execute. The having the like built-in GIFs and YouTube links for the exercises, so I'm not having to do the research during the workout or prior to the workout, and then that's if it's prior to the workout, that's more time, it's more bandwidth, it's more mental capacity versus nope, hit the button, follow the sequences, start the 1 minute rest. As soon as you hear that ding, go for the next set. It made it so smooth.
Yeah, totally. What would you say some of the biggest numerical, mental, just doesn't even have to be measurable, could just be like feeling wins that you've noticed? And it hasn't been a ton of time. It's been like 12 weeks, 16
Sure.
weeks. Like any,
Um, the don't know the number of weeks. It was like January 22nd. The wins was shirts are fitting normally. That I'm like, oh, I should probably just donate those because they don't fit anymore. Now I can wear some of those shirts again. That was one of the first ones. Belt loop sizes, and then the clear transition between confidence in within my own skin for like Easter Sunday for the dress up outfit that the wife had like arranged for the family. Like I wasn't nervous about getting dressed for Easter Sunday. It was like cool, done, no problem, good to go. And then uh, zooming out to the macro picture, I've lost 25 pounds since Christmas. Like that's like the big tagline when people are like, "Oh, how's that trainer going?" I'm like, "I've lost 25 pounds since Christmas." Like, and then that's nothing to do with necessarily starting the program. Technically, a month later in January, that's like, no, that's like the trend item that it was all about. Was that at Christmas having a great time with family, but at the end of the day not feeling great, and then now streamlining that process to having dropped 25 pounds overall mass, feeling stronger in certain areas, feeling more flexibility in other things, and then more in control of the diet. So that's kind of then like that two-piece part of that puzzle is the like the family's on board now of like, nope, daddy orders salads with extra chicken. And I'm that freak who's ordering a second grilled fillet on top of something because it one tastes good and two it's healthy enough. And then
tastes good. That's
the
what matters.
and so like wife's on board for that, and then getting after that like per 10 calories, one, right, so yeah, 10 to 1, yeah, 10 to 1 for protein to like help manage that and get like breakfast more regulated and consistent, and then like dropping desserts, being able to have fun and not feel like here I go, I'm bloating myself again. It's like, nope, it's vacation time, we have a little fun. That was another big mental win was after about a 10-day vacation, multiple towns, and then maintaining the same weight from when I left to when I got back.
Yeah, dude, that's huge. And I think the biggest thing that I'm hearing from you is just you went from like 50 stormtrooper bolts to a Death Star hyper beam. And just like getting focused on like what is the mission? What are we executing? How are we doing this? And it's just really cool to see because I think like you're obviously super smart, super ambitious, and kudos to you for just being like, all right, rather than trying to just assemble all these things together, let's just get it streamlined and accelerate that journey so that now you've got that escape velocity to go and do whatever it is that you want to do with a system that works better for you. And for anyone watching this that is super smart and almost getting in their own way, and maybe it doesn't have to be that particular person, but what would you say your three keys to success are? The three things that if you could go back and talk to yourself 6 months ago, you'd be like, hey, focus on these three things, man.
Uh, it's cliche. Three things are like start early enough, like get after it. There are things worth sacrificing for future goals. It's a part of the ARC Trooper like conversation is the like, hey, if you have all these hobbies and you're spending so much time, why don't you invest in yourself like as a physical person and not just a mental, I need to be entertained constantly. The diet aspect of it was honestly the most helpful tip that initial game plan was the shopping list that you've got ready to queued up that people may not consider, and it's real. It's not a sitting there measuring scope grams and then here we go and this is on a scale. You know exactly it is. Like no, it's Costco or Sam's Club or Walmart. This is where they are. This is how much it's going to cost you to get a refresh and a reset. And that was awesome. And then the training was the volume is 100% manageable, regardless of the goal and the discussion. And for me, trying to focus on cutting and overall decrease of mass, and then the how I physically look, the volume of all the workouts has been manageable. The rest is timely with enough to get back after it, but then also that like cue of no, this is a 2 minute rest. You can go 10 pounds heavier. Or no, this is the 60-second rest. Make sure you are mentally prepared to get after it because the next day you won't be so sore that you're in pain. You'll be ready for the next workout.
Yeah.
And that's just that phase blocking and tackling isn't going to be a barrier. And so those are like those three things, if I said it correctly.
Yeah, no, and you actually have said three things no one else has said, believe it or not. Volume management, which was the third one, is huge. And for you, whether it's work, family, hobbies, I always tell people there's only so many things you can handle. Your brain is like a computer with only so much RAM. And everyone starts out with, oh, well, when I was in basic, I would go this hard, so I'm going to do this. And it's like, you're not 22 anymore. You're not 18 anymore. And being able to just stay consistent with volume that works, but then know when to push. To your point, hey, I got a 2 minute rest. I can go a little bit harder because I've accounted for that in my recovery. Absolutely massive. The practicality, I appreciate you using those shopping lists because we've made so many, and it's just like, hey, here's the thing. Go order this. Whether did you do it like going and shopping or did you order it online?
Going. I ironically live closer to Costco than I do in my work building.
Okay, well then that makes it even easier. And so yeah, just like taking the game plan, executing the game plan, having that in place, and then you make a really good point that honestly I've been thinking a lot about. I'm heading to Disneyland with some of the members, and there I saw a stat the other day where it was like 50% of people that go to Disneyland finance it. And they actually saw a similar stat where it was like 60% of that people that went to Coachella financed it. And it's like, hey, I love action figures and I love, you know, sports cards and all that stuff, but it's like, hey, why not put money towards yourself or your gym? And if you got an epic collection, why not collect some level up version of yourself as well? And so kudos to you for just being like, hey, I got hobbies. Rather than spend money on my hobbies, I'll spend money on me and level up myself rather than my avatar. And you've obviously created your own avatar, and and your CT number. So that's awesome too. Um, okay, I'll give you one last curveball question that I haven't asked anyone. What moment in Star Wars, any movie, any show, is the one that if someone was getting into Star Wars, you'd be like, you've got to see this scene. Like, what is your
Mhm.
favorite scene in all of Star Wars?
Favorite scene. The problem is depending on who filmed it, that no one scene is a thing because it's all edited so perfectly tied. It's all, mirrors and all those things. Or what does George call it? Symmetry, it's
Poetry at
poetry.
times.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um if I had to pick one scene of like this is Star Wars at its nutshell, um that's a good question. The My gut is going toward Return of the Jedi and the start of the third act, basically, when they realize that the Death Star is operational and that the rebels like will keep fighting no matter what on the ground, in space, or Luke in the Death Star in the chamber of the Emperor.
Yeah. That's a really good answer because it speaks to like the three examples of the mythological blueprint of like, hey, yeah, it's the machine on Endor versus, you know, primitive culture and the fight of those. It's the oppressive empire versus the rebels. It's the light side and it's the dark side. And you have these three things clashing. And really it speaks that's a really good scene. I would not have thought of that. I was thinking like a lightsaber scene or something else, but that's a really good answer. And yeah, anyone watching who hasn't seen Star Wars, what are you doing? If
Go
not,
see it.
start with that. Awesome, man. Well, dude, thanks for the time and just freaking executing. Like you've done such a great job on that, and you know, maybe we give you a Venator, not Venator. What's the Imperial class cruiser? Isn't that the Executor? I won't do that.
Yeah, the Superstar Destroyer. Yeah, I actually do like the Venerator if you had to compare the classes, but that's like the nerding out. Like, because the Venerator with the two bridges is like actually how it should be done, with one takes care of the ship, one takes care of the flight deck, and then you can actually launch forth the fighters and the LAATs, all that good stuff.
You're not
Uh,
worthy.
yeah,
You're not worthy. That's awesome. Well, dude, thanks for the time and just keep crushing it, man. Super
sweet.
happy to have you in the community.
Thanks, Paul.